Hey y'all, very quick video to show you how to extract data from FreshBooks so that you can issue your 1099s in January, by the end of January. So we're going to use this demo company that I have here, and we're going to get right to it. If you're watching this video and it's really obscure, that means you're a FreshBooks user. Please subscribe to the channel. I'd also love it if you can give this video a thumbs up. It helps more people see it. And to stay connected with me, I'd love for you to check me out on Substack, which that link will be below. And I want to remind you that you are always invited to the free once-a-month Q&A session that I have for people. It is something I do for people who use FreshBooks and as a way to meet me. We might end up working together, but everyone gets to ask one free question. And so go ahead and join that. The registration link to that will be below, heritagebusinessservices.com/help-with-FreshBooks. All right, let's get ready for 1099s. Y'all, this is weird. I'm wearing a different outfit. I had almost edited my video, and I realized I had to come in and provide some more information from when I recorded it the first time. Here's the deal. In this video, I left out some key details that don't relate to FreshBooks, that kind of relate to 1099s at a high level. So I'm going to pop in and give you some resources, a resource to find out who to send them to, and like a decision tree of what types of payments count. So when you send your folks a W-9, which entity type gets one, LLCs and sole proprietors, but you kind of need to study that a little bit more. The resource I have for you is if you go to the Financial Tech Lab, my friend Hannah here, she's a great YouTuber. She has a great brand new video. It's going to look like this, called Everything You Need to Know About Filing Form 1099. And I would say you really need to watch about minutes 243 to a little bit after 445. That's where she's talking about who gets a 1099 and what types of payments. If you pay by credit card, you don't have to include that. So you've got to watch this. My video is just about how to extract total dollar amounts from FreshBooks. One more resource I'll point you to is 1099problems.io. Come to that website, 1099problems.io, scroll down, and it says get a free 1099 decision tree tool. Can't blame her. It's a lead magnet situation. You got to give up an email to get this, but this decision tree is really good at helping you know, like, did I pay them? What was their business structure? If it says yes, that they were an LLC, then you're going to go down, how did I pay them? Via check or via credit card? This would be a great little thing to grab. You just got to give up the email for it. So now we're actually going to get into how do you do this in FreshBooks. Forgive me for not wanting to teach on the overarching details of 1099. It's really a terrible topic, but I'll help you get the info out of FreshBooks. So what we need to figure out is who we have paid above the 1099 threshold, which merchants we paid. And I use the word merchants, it's very important. Some of you might be on the Premier plan, I think, or the Premium plan, and you'll have bills unlocked, but none of you should be using bills because it divorces vendors from merchants whenever really they're the same thing. So we're not using bills. We need to have all of our transactions listed in our expenses tab, okay? So you're going to come up to the report section, and you're going to access this thing called the expense report. We'll do it for last year. So I'm recording this in January. And here's the critical thing where it says group by, you're going to change it to merchant and you're going to hit apply. So what did it just do? Before I hit apply, it was showing me all the transactions by expense category. And now it's showing it by merchant. So here's an example. This company paid Adobe software this many times. So this was the merchant and it's grouped it together. Now Adobe, we're not going to be issuing a 1099 to, but if we were, we now have it together. So now here's the problem though. You're going to have to scroll through this. It's okay. Like depending on how many expenses you have, the expenses by merchant report is what you're going to use to take the merchant and then look for the transactions that you paid them for the year. But if you don't want to rely on your eyes to catch these numbers, like maybe you're just looking for these totals, or to be looking for your merchant. Like in this example, C.S. Lewis was hired for some training, and I think we have a Designs by Jess. Maybe that's another company that would be a good candidate for a 1099. So I'm going to show you a way to export this. So you go to More Actions, Export for Excel. So here we have our expense details. And I am going to show you how we would be able to use the features in Excel. Google Sheets would have this as well if you would have cut and paste this into Google Sheets, but I'll just do this pivot table method. Insert, pivot chart, and pivot table into a new worksheet, sure. And then I'm going to click the word merchant, and then I'm going to click the word amount. Now, let's scroll in here a bit. I don't care about that chart. I care about this list here. Now, let's look here. This list is the same list that we saw in that big, long, white PDF that FreshBooks makes look so beautiful. But now we got a nerd style here in a spreadsheet format, and we could start to get kind of a wizard with this. This is going to be much easier for our eyes to see anything that's over the threshold. So, Amazon's over the threshold. We're gonna look at this number, and then we're gonna go Amazon. Nah, Amazon doesn't need one. One thing you could do is, let's do a Control-C, new worksheet, Control-V. Let's just do paste values. Now we don't have it in pivot table form. And so I'm able to look at this, and my eyes are able to see even better that this one is possible. Law firm. Oh, I hired Forrest Frank to do a little jingle for my YouTube videos, right? That's what this example is saying. We hired someone named Forrest Frank and paid him that much money. But what did this pivot table do for us? It gave us the list of possible candidates that need a 1099 in America. One thing I do have to point out, unfortunately, we have this thing down here called blank, and y'all know me, I'm never going to do books that don't have my merchants properly classified, right? So why is it saying blank? Well, bad news bears is that on this report, FreshBooks still has a lot of wonky code behind the way they record expense refunds. So we do have to come here and look at the expense refunds. Let me zoom in. Oh, no, I'm not going to zoom in. And I can see that this refund was given to the Container Store, for some office supplies. So the Container Store is not going to be the type of entity that needs a 1099. If it was, though, you would have to back out this number manually to get to the number that you need to put on your 1099. So we have our list of candidates that are above the threshold. Now, do these candidates need a 1099? Well, we don't know yet because we don't have their W-9. And so I will give you a little bit of a help. There's an app it used to be called Track 1099. You can see this URL is called track1099.com. A company called Avalara bought them. So I signed into my old account, and I'm not going to be able to dive in here, but I'm going to tell you there's two components to it. This box on the right is the way that you can request from your merchants that they send you a W-9. The W-9 is the informational form that will then let you determine if this business needs to be issued a 1099. Now, if you send it, all you really need is an email address. I would probably compose an email to your merchant saying, hey, by the way, you're about to get an email from an entity called Avalara or Track 1099. I don't know how the email is going to come, but you're about to get an email requesting your W-9. Please fill it out in that portal. Once they fill it out in the portal, it talks to this application. Now, this application is the actual official tax form that will be submitted to the IRS. And each of these are like dollars, a couple of dollars. Totally worth it for you to take this off of your plate to issue these 1099s. I don't know. I think like last year I was like $195 maybe. It is what I use if I ever have to issue someone a 1099. I think thankfully this year I will not have to do that though, because I paid all my contractors through Gusto, which I use for payroll, gusto.com, Gusto Actual, which is what I recommend for people using payroll. So let me know if you want to use my link for that. I think it gets you a discount and it helps me out. It's a great way to say thanks if you appreciate my videos. But then it'll allow you to also pay contractors through Gusto. And if you are very strict about only using Gusto to pay anyone who you might need to issue a 99 to, then you'll never have to worry about doing all this because Gusto issues them for you. But W-9 is the information. 1099 actually contains the data that we just found out was how much we paid these vendors. And if something they submit on their W-9, if the box that they check on the W-9 means they don't need a 1099, then you would just omit that one. So maybe we send out 4 requests for W-9s, 3 come back with the entity status of sole proprietor or single member LLC that would need this. I think all lawyers have to have a 1099 too. That is true. So I hope you like the pivot table. It is definitely a bit more advanced. So if that kind of blew your mind, just print this out and go scrolling down your list, your expenses by merchant. That's what I call this, the expenses by merchant report. Highlight the ones that are possible candidates for you to need to send a 1099 to, and then go from there. And then make a note that these are the people you need to request their W-9 from. Then take that information, go send them the request from the Track 1099. When they respond and they give you their info, Track 1099 will let you know, yep, this person needs a 1099, and it'll just ask you how much was their compensation, their non-employee compensation. And you have the number from this report or from your pivot table. Again, if this was helpful, give this video a thumbs up and give me a comment below. It would help me a lot. Don't forget to register for the next free FreshBooks Q&A. Almost certainly you have at least one question about FreshBooks. Let me answer it for you. It'll also give us a chance to meet, and you can learn more about what I do, and I can learn more about what you do. If any of my videos help you, if you go to heritagebusinessservices.com/tools, is a great way to say thanks. In that is a list of the tools, most of which I use. Some of them I don't personally use, but it's a list of tools, and many of those have referral links. And that would be a great way, if we're strangers and we stay strangers and you just watch my videos, that'd be a great way for you to say thanks for the effort I put into these very obscure, very technical FreshBooks tutorials. I hope you have a great January. If January is horrible for you, let me help you. Bookkeeping can suck a lot of joy out of a business. It might suck all the joy out of your business, and I don't want that for you. I try to have service options for people at all levels of revenue in their business, from that one free question that you can ask at the monthly Q&A to my office hours membership group, which is a wonderful accountability group, and it gives you access to me on a regular basis where you can get your questions answered in our weekly meeting. You also get access to the Facebook group. It's kind of like having a bookkeeper in your back pocket. It's definitely a step up from that one free question that you get to ask me. I can clean up your books for you. You can fully outsource your bookkeeping. And if I'm not the perfect fit for you, I want to point you to a video that will be being released where I give you 3 options of finding an accounting professional who knows how to use FreshBooks. That video will be being shipped shortly. I'm saying it now in this video, so just to plant that little seed in your mind right now. So be on the lookout for a video where I will let you know about how to find other people like me who do know how to do accounting in FreshBooks. And as soon as the video is made, I'll link it below. All right, that's all for now. We were just talking about 1099s. I'm Kate Josephine Johnson, and I help businesses build their business legacy.